Hey guys, just wanted to bring you out to a really beautiful place that I come as often as I can. Really incredible river right in the middle of the desert here. And the reason I was going to make the video, and I'm sorry I haven't had time to make more lately, I've been pretty busy, is I was looking at a lot of things on the internet, people fighting about veganism versus eating meat versus cooked and raw veganism and stuff like that. Purpose is supposed to be health, and the purpose below that is supposed to be all of us getting in better shape and helping each other as much as we can by partly by example, as much as we can do that. And I just wanted to encourage all of you not to focus on fighting about these issues, but exploring them inside yourself, because we're really all after the same thing here. We don't need to be opponents. Do much better cooperating. And when you're looking at the issue of what's better, veganism, meat eating, paleo, raw food, milk versus non-milk, and all this kind of stuff, there's kind of a continuum the way I see it. I've come to this conclusion more and more over the last 55 years of exploring it myself. Now as I get near the age of 70, I don't feel critical of anybody. I've begun to learn enough so that when you get more experience yourself, you just don't need to attack anybody. You realize that's very juvenile, and it's not necessary. You just point out and do the best you can, and you're after what's true, not who's right so much, but what's really going on. And I would say when you're trying to figure out which one of these approaches is the best, it's more like a continuum. You start out where you are, and then you make progress by gradually improving it. If you're on a standard American diet, maybe you're drinking 10 Cokes a day and drinking 6 cups of coffee and eating tons of meat and processed food. Cut down the amount of Cokes you're drinking, or Pepsis or Dr. Pepper, whatever it is. Get more into drinking water, good water, clean spring water if you can get it in glass, and really well filtered water if you can't. And if you're farther along, then you try and cut out meat, because people aren't designed to eat meat. They're not designed to eat animals. It's not that I have anything against hunters. I understand their excitement and being close to nature and wanting to provide food from nature for their families and themselves. But being a hunter and hurting and killing animals requires that you turn off empathy in your consciousness, or make it selective. There are certain creatures and beings that you have empathy for, and others that you just think of as inanimate objects for you to kill. And once you start waking up a little more inside yourself, that changes, and you can't intentionally hurt any animals or any people anymore, other than in unavoidable self-defense situations, of course. But you don't go out and kill animals because you don't care what their bodies taste like anymore. Your gut's not designed to process meat. It's too long. It's can handle vegetarian food, but not flesh over the long term. Has a lot of problems that come up. Even if it's organic, fresh meat, in the long term, it's not good. So you go more toward vegetarian, but then eventually you find out that cooking destroys the life force in food, which is really the primary nutrient of all of them. It hasn't really been discovered by official science, but it's the main nutrient in food is life force. So when you heat the food over about 115 or so, that gets killed. It's not just the enzymes, it's a more subtle force that the enzymes just reflect. So you want to start doing more and more raw food. You definitely, no matter what stage you're at, you want to get away from eating anything that's not at least organic, because eating things that have poison sprayed on them, or that even are grown with chemical fertilizers, is not good for your body. That's not extremely difficult to understand. So all organic, even if it means you have to buy less food, but buy it organic. Don't buy anything processed. As Matt Monarch says, that's rightly, I think that's one of the first things to give up is processed food. Go for whole foods, and then go toward raw as much as you can. And long term, the raw vegans usually go back to some cooked food because they can't sustain themselves on 100% raw food, most of them, with some exceptions. And a lot of them try to stay there by using extensive supplementation. In my case, I wanted to do it without anything other than natural food, so I started adding organically produced raw milk, and it just eliminated my desire for cooked food completely. So now my diet's really limited just because I need less and less as I go along. The body stays really clean. You don't worry about getting sick. You don't worry about aging, stuff like that. It's really worthwhile to go as far on this continuum as you can and learn about how to do that, and then experiment, because you won't find it in the official literature too much. They're just really in the dark ages on figuring this stuff out. But there are many great health teachers that are going a long way, good books about it that we'll discuss on our radio show. So I just want you to see it like anything else. Just do it for yourself. Do it inside yourself. You don't need to convert anybody. If people see you being an example that they feel like is inspiring for them, then they'll follow it. And if they don't, then arguing is a complete waste of time anyway. And it's the wrong attitude for this exploration. We're supposed to be kind to each other and cooperate. You can always jump on somebody for something, but it's just it's the wrong direction of energy. So learn about the continuum, find out where you are on it, evaluate what you're doing every day in detail, move it toward the lighter direction on the continuum, learn about the other components that have to go with it, exercise and sunlight and sleep and attitude, as we talked about. All these things together, grounding, still really important in spite of the pollution that we've got in the atmosphere. And if you're in a serious situation, you've been diagnosed with a fatal condition or something like that, you're going to have to go farther, and you'll probably need some help from somebody that knows about that. But if you're not in bad shape and you're not wanting to go too fast, just keep improving, and eventually you get to a much lighter condition where your energy stays high and you feel good all the time. So that's a reality. That can be done. Anyway, if you want to go into it more deeply, we talk about that on the new part of our radio program. LostArtsRadio.com/club explains about it. We still have our regular guest show Sundays at LostArtsRadio.com. You'll find out about that, or see it directly at blogtalkradio.com/LostArtsRadio. It's an educational service. It's free. The club has small dues, but it's worth it if you want to go into it more in detail for yourself. LostArtsRadio.com/club, and take a look at that. See if you like it. If it looks appropriate, I'll see you there, and hope everything's going good for you. I'll talk to you soon.